Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We got to talk about BB23, and things are getting interesting as we get closer to the cookout being the final 6.
What a week this has been! But first, if you guys are new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
Yes, and if you want to support us on Patreon, there's that. There it is. There's that link. And there's the link in the description, too. Click it. Support us, please.
Click it. Support us. Come join us. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone in the chat. Oh, wow.
Happy Labor Day.
Oh, it's Labor Day.
Yes.
Some people had today off.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Right here, watching those feeds.
Yeah.
Soaking in all the drama.
I mean, we're going to get into it in the spoilers.
Yes,
but first,
we are.
We have to recap that Sunday episode.
That's right.
Which showed us, we kind of already talked about the HOH comp last week because we were watching it live after the Eviction episode. But it was interesting to see
go through it.
some background, you know, in the midst of everything. So, you know, we do get to see DF last a whole minute and 42 seconds. I do love seeing the timer on these competitions. You know, how long are these people lasting?
1 minute 42 seconds. I believe it was during a commercial break, like during the show. Because so we didn't actually get to see it.
He was already down.
Yeah, when he came back. So this was the time to see it. In the episode.
Yeah.
He's down, but then Alyssa, who I thought was going to win this whole thing.
6 minutes.
She's puking and passing out and something. She's not one for... I remember, do you guys remember the very first night, the first episode, and when the feeds first came on, she was puking.
Really?
Yeah. She was sitting in the bathroom with a trash can. She was puking, and she was all like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. People saw me puke." I think it was just like the nerves and the running around and whatever. But I was like, "Oh, I guess I should have remembered that."
Sure.
And
she's quick to puke.
That she's a puker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. She could. You know, some people are like you just never know when that kind of thing is going to hit. It can be unexpected, but apparently it wasn't totally unexpected for Alyssa. This is kind of a trend.
Maybe.
Then Claire, again, don't really get this. She lasted 18 minutes, 28 seconds, right? And she's the third have not. And we get this diary room thing where it's like, this feels like a good time to throw it. And I'm like, this actually feels like the worst possible time to throw it.
She had to have been waiting one more person and then she would not be a have not.
Right?
This is not the time to throw it.
It's not.
But in reality, she fell.
She fell.
So... she's down. There's nothing she can do about it. She did not mean to throw it at that point.
Yeah.
Then we start to see,
strategy.
All that's left is the cookout.
Yep.
Great.
So it's the cookout talking about like, what's the strategy? You know, they are always thinking about who's next, who's like, which of our allies, our individual allies, are we going to pick off next?
Our plus ones.
The majority of people are talking about Claire. Like, she's got to be the next to go. But...
look, I don't like this edit. Okay, let's get into it. Real talk.
Yeah.
Yes, there was discussion about Claire being next because Xavier and Big D want Alyssa to win the 7th HOH.
To take a shot.
And take a shot at one of the girls.
Yep.
That's their plan and their dreams and their hopes and their desires. So there was a lot of debate of like, Claire should go next, right? And Tiffany said, no, I think Alyssa should go next. And Ozza said, yeah, I like Claire better than Alyssa. So Alyssa should go next. Hannah said, Alyssa should go next.
Yeah.
That like they had conversations. Yet this edit just chooses to show us that everyone was in agreement on Claire when it was a discussion.
It was. And this is, you know, this is the cookout already kind of going at each other without going at each other, right? Because they're thinking about who's going to be that 7th. And is it on the guy's side or is it on the girl's side? The girls want to keep Claire. The guys want to keep Alyssa.
Yep.
But you're right. All we see is them talking about like Claire needs to go. Claire, you know, I think isn't this when Xavier was telling Ozza, like Claire's starting to put it together. this.
Yeah.
She's putting this together. Like just
Yes.
they always speak in code.
Yeah.
They barely call it the cookout anymore. They call it the six.
Yeah, which I like. I mean, it's easier for me to say too. I don't know why. But it's like the six.
Yeah.
And then they have to go boom, 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 and show us all six of them as
every
if
episode.
we don't know
I know
who the six is.
It's like, who's tuning into their first Big Brother episode of the season at this point? Come on.
I
guess maybe.
I don't know.
But Tiffany's not, we do get some diary rooms from Tiffany where she's like, I'm actually not great with Claire going. Obviously, we know that. And she's like, I'm worried about Alyssa making it to Final 7 because Alyssa is a really good competitor. That's not the only reason, obviously, that she's worried about her making it. But I think Alyssa is potentially a better, she's, I think, at least a better physical competitor than Claire is. So that is a concern.
It's a very debatable topic, Alyssa and Claire's comp abilities. Yeah. But it's not unlikely that Alyssa could win the Final 7 HOH. And so now that we're down to just 2 non-cookout members, you got to think about these things. Now, another thing that was left out of this edit is that, yes, the cookout was like, if Big D or Ozza can win this comp, give it to them. Give it. Yes, the majority of the cookout did agree to that. But Kyland was like, or me. And I distinctly remember Xavier and Tiffany having a whole talk about, we cannot let Kyland win another HOH. We don't want to sit through it. We don't want his info gathering. Yeah. We don't want him to have 3 on his resume. There are reasons why they didn't want Kyland to win, and that's not in the edit. We got a lot of Kyland talking about, like, why can't I win this? Yeah. Instead.
Xavier threw it, full on threw it, with Kyland still in the game. Yeah. So he apparently was dedicated enough to the cause where he's like, and he also is like, thinking about his own game,
to growing things
for sure. Yeah. So he threw it, and he could say like, I was trying to throw it to Ozza or whatever, but he threw it with Kyland still in the game. And Tiffany is very much in the diary room saying, Kyland, I'm not going to let you win the 3rd HOH. No. It's not going to happen on my watch. I'm sorry. And I do love these little moments that we didn't really get to see, because we were like streaming while we're watching the live feeds. But these moments of Kyland being like, Tiffany, what's up? What's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? She's like, I'm good. I could stay up here.
To the point that Kyland asked the rest of the house guests if they could leave.
Kyland has balls. What? Like, what kind of a request is that? Can y'all give us a minute? No. I'm not leaving.
Thank goodness they said no.
Yeah. Say what you got to say out in front.
Yeah. If you want to out something, go, feel free. Yep. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. But they're, twirling around for a while to the point where now Ozza is also puking. And she's like, I threw up my lunch. I feel great now, guys. And then 36 minutes. Ozza. 36 minutes, Kyland drops. Actually, I think we talked about this in our last video, but relatively short for this kind of a competition. We've seen it go for much longer before. But he drops and he's annoyed, and that is the beginning of a lot of people being very annoyed and confused and frustrated for the rest of this episode.
This week was titled, How Mad Can We Be at Tiffany? Yeah. It was a pity party for a lot of people that are...
Well, and the way they characterize this, especially Kyland, like... we come back and Kyland and Ozza are both kind of confused. They're like, what just happened? Like, why did she do that? Kyland's like, I don't understand why Tiffany would engage in such risky and selfish behavior. Tiffany can't be HOH because she has to send Claire home. It's like, it's not that deep. Tiffany might send Claire home if it comes down to it. Like, it's not that deep. Literally, she can put her on the block.
How many seasons have we watched where someone puts their ally on the block? Yeah. It's a delicate dance. Yeah. But it is not unheard of.
It's not impossible.
The cookout lost their mind.
No.
That this was the biggest travesty ever.
Yeah.
No, but when Kyland said this was selfish behavior, I was like, I'm sorry. Can we just go back a couple weeks when Sarah Beth was the target? Who didn't throw the HOH that week?
Yeah.
you don't get to call anyone selfish.
I know.
You literally already did exactly what Tiffany just did.
I know. I do live for like moments of self-unawareness.
Unaware.
You know, it's like, wow, you just really think Tiffany's some kind of villain who's out to like only play her own game, and you would never do that.
Except you 100% already did this exact thing.
Right.
Oh my gosh, the audacity that
Truly.
happens from this moment on. I just can't get over it.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, Ozza couldn't hang.
No.
If Ozza could have hung and Kylan could have fallen, this would be a different story. Tiffany would have fallen for Ozza.
I think
She's
so.
not going to fall for Kylan.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't blame her.
But she's also still talking. I mean, you know, these are the diary room segments. Those are a little bit produced.
Yeah.
But she's definitely talking about, like, I'm here to win $750,000. I'm here to build my resume. Like, I'm going to win another HOH, you know?
He would have 3. 2 is a lot.
Yeah.
Imagine him sitting at the end saying he got 3 when half of the cookout threw it to him.
Yeah, I know. Not good.
Oof.
Not good. So then we move on to Alyssa's sad, because I think she kind of knows what's coming.
She gets it.
You know, and Xavier is mad. He's like, why would Tiffany do, like, Kylan's a little bit more like confused and like brainwashing himself about like Tiffany's being selfish and risky. Xavier, I think, is a little bit more justified because he knows he's going on the block and that's not where you want to be. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, if you don't want to be on the block, win HOH. Don't throw it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing. I think he's extra mad because he did this.
Yeah.
That was his game plan coming in. This is what we have seen. He has thrown most things. He does not want to win. He does not want to make a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to rock the boat. He doesn't want you mad at him. He doesn't want Brent mad at him.
Right.
He doesn't want people to have any reason to like, you know, that he has blood on his hands, right?
That's right.
And so now he's not getting his way. Playing his passive game. And I'm sorry, that's on you.
Yeah, you got it. If you want to play, listen, the passive game works sometimes, okay? And he may get to the final 2 and everyone will be like, Xavier never gave me a reason to be mad at him. And that could work for him.
Yeah.
But there are consequences to that. And eventually, you know, you're going to go on the block next to Alyssa. So it happens this week instead of next week. Like, people are just mad because I think they feel a little bit outplayed by Tiffany here. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. We're all dedicated to the cause. And this feels like Tiffany's playing for herself.
Wait, no, they're all playing for themselves. Like, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Xavier has been talking about keeping Alyssa to 7th. That's playing for himself.
Yes.
Kylan did a lot of work to save Sarah Beth as long as he could. That's working for himself. They're all working for the cookouts.
Yeah, but
they are also all working for themselves. That's the reason that you get a little worked up when the 3 men sit together and talk about how selfish the women are, or specifically Tiffany. Yeah. It's like, no, you guys are all doing it. So like, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, I know.
You're just mad that Alyssa might go home at this point.
Right, exactly. I did love the moment when Alyssa was like, I mean, you know, maybe we'll just like go out in the double together and then we'll go to jury together. And Xavier's like, girl, I'm winning this game. Like, maybe you're going to go to jury, but I am not going to jury with you. Like, that is not my
He's like, that's right.
Yeah. But Claire's the only one who will celebrate with Tiffany.
Yeah.
And they have a fun moment in the bathroom. Finally, Tiffany gets to celebrate a little bit because everyone else is like, explain.
She's like walking on eggshells around everybody else, but then Claire's like, yay, we're safe. Oh, sweet Claire.
Yeah,
safe.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to Tiffany and Xavier. They get to sit down and have technically a one-on-one here. And she does say sorry. Look, you know, I'll do what I have to do. This is where we are in this game. Right. She's like, clearly, I'm going to try to go for Alyssa first. And you're going to have to sit next to her.
Yeah. That's just how it is.
You can't not be up there.
This
sorry.
is the plan. So, and she in the diary room, she's like, I'm really not that sorry.
No.
Like, this is just what it is. And she's like, but I need you up next to her because I need you to use that veto on yourself and not use it on Alyssa. So, and he's just like, kind of oh man, I just really feel like I'm playing for the cause.
He's like, oh, I have to be on the block 3 weeks in a row. And I was like, I'm sorry, Brittany, what was that? Because the first week was a roulette wheel. The second week was your doing for trying to get the veto. So this is really only the first time you've ever been nominated.
Yeah.
Again, Brittany, what? Calm down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also loved before, I think it was maybe a little bit before Xavier and Tiffany talked, but Derek F is like feeling sorry for himself. And he's like, I'm tired of being like the worst one. And I'm like, I could have sworn that you were saying like, I wish the girls need to pull their weight. And now Tiffany's won 2 HOHs and you don't seem too pleased that the girls are now pulling their weight in the cookout.
For weeks, they sat in rooms together. These women, we cannot drag them to the end. DF, the mastermind of it all, cannot carry the weight of these women. They have got to do something. The women dominated last week. Then Tiffany wins HOH, and they are like, how selfish. Yeah. Absurd.
The nerve of these women.
How dare they beat us at a comp? Don't they know us men? We win things.
Oh my God, yes. But, this is, I would say the one person in the cookout who's not totally annoyed at everything that's going on is Hannah.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, cool. Y'all go after each other. I'll just be here on the sidelines. Nobody's looking at me. I'm actually in a pretty decent spot right now. Really I was just like, Hannah, can you believe that? And she's like, wow, thanks. She's just not wanting to get involved or really take a strong side either way because she's like, I feel good right now.
She's good at being very realistic. She's like, yeah, this might be a very bad position for Tiffany. Mm-hmm. She'll do what she has to do. And it's like, thank you, just move on.
Right.
Let's not whine about it.
I know.
If she has to do it, she's going to do it. But let's put Alyssa up here first. What I do love is my Sagittarius queen, Azza. Look, she's so real. She may not be great at this game, but she wants to be honest with you. And she wants to be petty. And I love it. And when she is sitting in that bed and she's like, Alyssa wants to borrow my yellow dress.
My God.
I should have told her no.
Yeah.
God, I hope it doesn't fit her. And then the glee. When it doesn't fit Alyssa, I was dying.
Yeah. She's like, and I feel like Azza was like protesting a little bit with the zipper. She's like, ooh, girl.
Still not up.
It's not. I don't think it's going to go.
Nope. You look uncomfortable.
Yeah. And Alyssa's like, should I try the other one? She's like, yeah, go try the purple one. And then she walks out and she's like, yes.
I love it.
It's so good.
I love it so much.
I also love the moment where Tiffany basically noticed, because Xavier and I think DF were the first two to kind of leave the HOH room. And DF was like, I've seen it. I'm going to go downstairs. And Xavier's like, yeah, I mean, it's just like really Azza or Derek F should have this moment. So I don't need to watch this. And then the guys are talking downstairs and Tiffany's like, click, let's turn on the guys. What are you talking about? And she's just watching them talk trash from the HOH room.
It was so, I just couldn't handle. They were such obvious sad sacks. Like, it's just like, suck it up.
Truly, yeah.
Oh.
Yes. So.
All right.
Tiffany and Claire talk before the end of the episode, right?
Oh, I have Tiffany and Alyssa talking.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is quick. Tiffany and Claire, they're just saying like, oh, we want a final four with Azza and Hannah. Tiffany just kind of like solidifying her bond with Claire. But I love this Alyssa conversation.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed when I watched this. Obviously, it's not going to change anything. And it was so weird because Tiffany's sitting in the DR going, how do I deny this? Yeah. And I was like, what? Who produces this?
I know.
How did you agree to say this, Tiffany? You never once did you consider not nominating Alyssa. Yeah. But Alyssa's like, cool, because Tiffany started with like,
it's you.
And she's like, I get it. But let's talk about jury votes. And half of what Alyssa says most of the time isn't right. Mm-hmm. It is not correct. And she was like throwing out guaranteed votes. I'm like, no, none of these are guaranteed.
Right.
And you're just assuming everyone's voting per team. And I just don't think that that's 100% true.
Right.
But she's got such conviction.
Yes.
You
and
believe
it's like,
her.
it's one of those things where, like, even if it's not 100% accurate, remember these people are inside the Big Brother house, and all you have to do is plant seeds and get people thinking and questioning and wondering, right?
Yes.
And I think that's what Alyssa's trying to do here. She's like, let me pull out my whiteboard, you know, she's like, put up the memory wall, and she's like going through all these scenarios. And, you know, I do think Tiffany wasn't buying it. Like, she was always going to put up Alyssa.
She has to.
But I was just like, this is impressive. Like, you thought about this, you went up there and made a decent argument, and like, even if it didn't change the outcome, good for you for playing Big Brother.
Absolutely. I do really appreciate the way that she will just tell you something so convincingly, whether it's true or not, but like, she believes it. And so she's like, you sit next to me in the end and you've got the votes. I don't know that you've got the votes these other ways. And this is something Tiffany does need to think about. Like, she's
endgame.
She's building her end game, but I haven't heard her talk about votes. I've only heard her say, like, I don't want to sit next to this person, and I do want to sit next to this person. And if I do sit next to Hannah and Hannah wins, that's okay. But like, are you really thinking about the votes here?
Yes, right. Like, when you say, I don't want to sit next to this person, why is that? You know, like, where are the numbers? Like, you can't just be like, I have a feeling that I would not beat this person. Like, count the votes, you know? So it was great to see Alyssa starting to think that way. Yeah,
I really did appreciate that. No, it's not changing Tiffany's mind.
No.
And so we do see the noms here. She does put Xavier and Alyssa up. They're not completely surprised.
No.
Xavier's not surprised at all. But and those are our noms. And I do believe we get another DR on how they are so mad at Tiffany, but I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. We get it. You're mad. And I do think, well, let's talk about spoilers, because I don't think it's going to be great for her. But
you guys,
spoilers. All right. Well, the veto spoilers, right? Let's start there.
Yes. Let's start at the very biggest. What was the one
thing
that could not happen?
That everyone was afraid of. Alyssa won veto.
Or supportive of. But Alyssa.
She did it. And I love that, because that's my draft, girl.
That's right.
And she took herself down. So I'm like, thank you for re-earning the points that I lost from you and Xavier being put on the block next to each other. That's what I needed from you. And this is exciting.
You and Busy are tied right now in the lead of our draft. Alyssa won the tiny veto. It was that tiny comp again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even any tomfoolery, because I was like, because Xavier was threatening to help Alyssa win this just to put Tiffany in a bad situation. But no, he was not doing well in the little tiny comp. So Claire did not get chosen to play. So no hope there for Claire. Alyssa wins, and there's not a lot of options when Alyssa is the winner of the veto.
But Tiffany gives it a try. Right? Tiffany is trying to convince Alyssa to use it on Xavier, saying, if you use it on yourself, I am forced to put up someone that will send Xavier home. So your only way of guaranteeing that both of you stay is if you use it on Xavier, and then I can put someone up that we sent home instead of you.
But Tiffany did not do this until lockdown was called.
Yeah.
We didn't even see it on the feeds. And I think, who knows if this was the right way to do it, but I did think it was the best option. If she had brought this up yesterday, Alyssa would definitely run to Xavier. And even though Tiffany was armed with, look, Xavier would never give you the okay to do this. He does not want that on your conscience, but that's because he thinks he has the votes. He does not realize that he'd go out. Like, put that fear in Alyssa.
That's right.
I do think that was the best way to go about it, because I don't think Alyssa is likely to use the veto on Xavier. So I don't know if bringing this up yesterday would have done it.
Right.
Here's what I think. Deep down, Alyssa doesn't care about Xavier. This is not her showmance.
Alyssa cares about Christian.
Yes.
Christian's gone.
Christian is gone.
Yeah.
Xavier scooped her up because he loves her.
Yeah.
But she does not feel that same way about him. So I bet deep down she was like, ugh, if he doesn't have the votes, like,
okay,
I guess I'll just recover like I did after Christian left.
Right.
How about that?
Cool.
Yeah.
And I think, thank God, like, you just hate to see someone make a move like that, you know? So to me, thank you. I always want to see people use the veto on themselves.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it to risk it, you know? So she did use it on herself, pulled herself off. And Tiffany was forced to put up Claire, but she had kind of done the work to plan, to like lay the groundwork for this. She's not going to blindside Claire by putting her on the block. So
even though some people wanted her to do it.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, so when Alyssa wins veto, before, like, Tiffany's like, Alyssa's gonna use it on herself, she's not gonna use it on Xavier. Like, I gotta now move my thought towards Claire.
Yeah.
How do I handle this?
And it's not just Tiffany. The Cookout is like, how do we handle this?
Yeah, unnecessarily, the Cookout has to micromanage every little step of the way, like they have all season.
Yeah.
And of course, there's one person who needs to get his way at all times, Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not, he was like, no, you may not say the whole truth.
Yeah.
You cannot out the Cookout. You cannot tell her
right.
that you even had a deal. So Tiffany's like, okay, fine. I'll say, I made a deal with you guys not to put you up. No, that's too close. You can't say it.
Right.
It was such just
that
like
implies an alliance.
Like,
and like some people are like, who cares at this point? We're at the final 7. Like, if they find out about the Cookout, guess what? We're still gonna get them out, you know? Like, what does it matter? But some people are like, we got to keep this a secret up until the last second. And so they're all just, they have to come to like a group consensus about like, what are you going to say to Claire? And I thought Tiffany handled, I mean, it was an emotional conversation, but Tiffany handled it pretty well, I think, all things considered.
I think she handled it great. I thought it was a beautiful moment between two people who, when you work really closely together in this crazy game, you're stuck in this house together. People are lying to you left and right. They have been super, super tight from the beginning and they have bonded. And so they really talked on a friend emotional level. And the way that Tiffany worded it was that I told myself, I made a promise to myself that I would never put 2 of, and then she just named them. She didn't spell it out.
She didn't say, I'm in an alliance with these people.
She just said, Tiffany, Xavier, Big D, Azza, Hannah. She just named them. And Claire is like,
I get it.
Got it. She did not have to question what that meant. Tiffany said, I made that promise that I wouldn't put 2 of them up together and be the one to send one of them out. And Claire was like, so I'm going on the block? And Tiffany's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, ah! And then they cried about it, but Claire did not fight her. And she said, like, I'm sure some people are going to be mad that I don't fight you on this, but I get it. And ultimately, Claire was like, I will do my best to get the votes. She's like, I don't think I have the votes.
Right. And Tiffany kind of said, like, it's on you, right? To get the votes. She was like, you know, I don't think she outright said, but she was, I think she kind of implied, like, I can't help you get the votes. Like, there's really nothing I can do. Best of luck to you. Like, do what you need to do to try to send Xavier home, but I can't help you send Xavier home, you know? So she's pretty upfront about what's going on. And Claire is aware because Claire has already been told by Alyssa, guess what? You're the last white person, you know? Like, and Claire was not like, oh my God, you're right. I am the last white. Like, she was already aware of that, you know? So I think she knows what's going on, even though they're not being explicit about it. And she's just kind of like, respect. Like, I'm not fighting you individually, but I will fight to stay in this game. And so I hope we do, you know, see that because Claire is too good and too much of a fan to just roll over and be sent out. So, you know, I think we will see her campaign.
We will. I hope she can come up with something. I mean, her goal, her pitch is definitely to make X look as dangerous as he is. Like, that's legit.
Yeah, and that is legit.
X is in a great position to win this whole game.
Yeah.
People aren't talking about targeting him. People aren't wanting to get him out.
That's right.
Though they will vote for him in the end. Like, she's got things to say to put the fear. She's obviously not going to get the votes.
Right.
They're not actually going to flip the vote. But we are going into a double.
Exactly. Like, this kind of,
they don't really know that.
She has a moment to affect the future of the game. You know, like, it's not going to help her, but it might help Tiffany, you know, down the line to paint a bigger target on Xavier's back and just remind people, like, just because he's throwing everything doesn't mean
exactly because
that,
he's throwing things. Like, he's a threat in this end game. So she'll whip out some stuff.
Mm-hmm. But it's such a bummer I mean, like, imagine Claire's the only person who would celebrate with you this week when you won HOH. And now you're having to have this conversation where you're saying, I'm putting you on the block and you're going home. Like,
yeah, back to people talking about Tiffany being so selfish. She lost Derek X and she put up and is sending out Claire. Like, this is the least selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyland lost Sarah Beth. Like, everyone's doing what they have to do.
Right.
Except Xavier, because I'm not convinced.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was like, I never want to hear Xavier accuse Tiffany again of not playing for the cause, because here she is, like, sending. This is the move that, you know, none of them were supposed to make. And you could absolutely argue, like, Tiffany made her bed and she has to lay in it. And she is. But she didn't change the plan just because she faced this tough moment of, like, I have to send home my ally. She said, okay, I have to send home my ally.
Right.
I'm going to do it.
And so, there's a lot of discussion on, like, did this week screw Tiffany over? Like, is this the end of her game? Mm-hmm. And I mean, in some regards, maybe, because she did tick off Xavier and she was in a good position with Xavier and now she's not. Mm-hmm. So, like, maybe that's a change. But I think she handled this perfectly with Claire.
Yeah.
Claire goes back to jury with DX and the rest of them who have already figured it out by now. Mm-hmm. But she will then have the added information of, like, no, Tiffany and Hannah are in on it.
Yeah.
DX and say, you know, we were all outplayed. They got us.
Right.
So I feel like on one hand, Tiffany's doing just fine.
Yeah, I'm curious your thoughts on, because I definitely watched this episode and I was like, yikes, Tiffany, not good for you, because now everybody, especially this particular Sunday episode, everyone is so mad at her, right?
Yeah.
And people get over those things. But I actually, just because it's been so men versus women with the cookout, once we get to the 6, I wasn't so paying attention to the change in her relationship with Xavier, but the change in her relationship with Azah. So I'm curious your thoughts, if anything there. Do you feel like there's any permanent distrust there? Because, you know, Azah initially was like, what was going on? Why would she do that? But do you think that's, like, going to linger?
I mean, Azah is an interesting one, and especially with Tiffany. And if we go back to when Tiffany and Azah first had, like, their fight and their blow up, and I was like, oh my God, did Tiffany just blow up her game because she lost Azah? And then they repaired it, and they've sort of been good, but not, like, great. And then they started talking about being in Final 3 together and knowing that they needed to get these guys out.
Yeah.
But this weekend, Azah's like, I mean, I don't know. You know, so it's not 100%. Like, they're not like this, and I wish they could be, because it would actually help both of their games. Yeah. Azah doesn't know that well, she kind of knows because of Zingbot, but Xavier's not fully in your corner, and she's been all dreamy-eyed with him, and that has affected her game.
Yeah.
So Azah is hard to tell, but she's now closer to Kyland than Xavier, which it used to be that. But Kyland has now reverted back to his old days of being a rat.
Oh, yeah.
And he is playing close to Tiffany. Like, she thinks, yes, I got to take Kyland to the end. No one likes him.
Yeah.
He won't get votes. I'm going to work closely with him.
Yeah.
But Kyland is taking all this information back to Xavier and trying to play them against each other, which is actually working.
Yeah.
So just honestly, this 6, so messy, and it's going to be beautiful.
I know. I'm very excited now for these, like, couple of double evictions coming up.
Yes. Because I think this is, I mean, these 2 doubles in a row are going to throw them.
It's chaotic, for sure.
And they will take out one of Tiffany, Xavier, or Kyland.
Yeah.
Probably next week.
Right.
It's possible Tiffany goes out this week if Alyssa wins HOH. But the odds are stacked against Alyssa.
Yeah.
And more than likely she follows Claire out.
Yeah.
But it could be Tiffany.
It could be.
But
it could be another worst case scenario.
Next
for Tiffany.
week, it will definitely be one of those 3. Like that, they just will.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ozza and Derek F. Who's targeting them? You know what I mean? Like, it definitely feels like
Wait, who?
Ozza and Derek F. Like, they're just threats, right?
Hannah and Tiffany are targeting Big D. That's who they want out at 6.
Okay.
Because he's the goat you drag to the end. So he's got to go. And he's sided with the guys, not the girls. They know that.
Okay.
So he needs to go. He's a number for Kyland and Xavier.
Okay.
They were hoping to pit Xavier and Kyland against each other. That was okay last week. Not sure that that's still going to work. Ozza wants Kyland out first. And Tiffany says, okay, but... And then Ozza's like, I don't know then. Like, that's when she's like, I don't know if I can be 100% with Tiffany.
Yeah.
She's on a different page than me. Ooh.
Yikes.
It's going to be messy, y'all.
It's
already messy.
I know. Now, we didn't mention, I don't think, that this veto is Zingbot.
Zingbot!
Which we know. So I'm excited to see what those zings are. They haven't really been talking too much about the zings, but we know some.
It was so weird because usually on Zingbot Day, that's like all we hear about on Saturday.
Yeah.
But because Alyssa won, it was like, oh crap. What do we do? What I could decipher, and you guys chime in because I probably missed some, but Alyssa's I love because it was something like you're from the Sunshine State.
Okay.
But you're dim, I think is the way he phrased it.
Oh, okay.
And she had to ask what that meant.
No, Alyssa.
She didn't get it. But she's just perfect.
That's good.
That's so good.
Especially because she like kind of thinks she's really smart right now. And that
oh my God, we haven't even talked about how she is so excited. You guys, she got Tiffany to put up her closest ally.
Yeah, right.
And she thinks that she did that, but also that Tiffany thinks that Claire is a pawn sitting next to X to make sure he goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where, I mean, it's so good. It's just so good. And then she's like, haha, Zingbot, I guess I'm not that dumb after all.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God. Wow. Wait till you go home on Thursday. Okay. What were the other ones?
Kylan talks too much. I mean, that's like low-hanging fruit.
If I heard this correctly, though, they said, Zingbot said, shut the bleep up, Kylan. And if that's how he phrased it, oh boy. I think something about Xavier being cocky, I believe.
Okay.
And then Ozza's was about or alluded to Xavier not like giving it back to her to the point that there was like awkward. She was like, and he was all like, no, I just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying anything in the DR to make it sound like he was like kind of apologizing.
He's like, give me, woo, can't talk about that. Okay.
Woo! Yikes. But honestly, if it makes Ozza wake up a little bit.
I know.
Great.
Come on. Yes. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Mm-hmm. But I'm excited to see Zingbot. I do always enjoy a Zingbot. And I always have hope. And, sometimes the zings aren't that good, but hopefully they'll be good.
No, they're not always that great, but that does sound fun.
Yeah.
So I'm here. The double is... We're going to just right at the top of the episode, Julie's going to ask them for votes and they're going to evict Claire.
Yep.
And then they're going to immediately play for HOH again. Someone's going to win and we'll go through the whole week in less than an hour and we'll have a second person leave at the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. So if all goes according to plan, the Cookout will win.
Yeah.
And put up Alyssa next to somebody.
Yeah.
If Alyssa does not win veto, Alyssa goes.
Yeah.
If Alyssa wins HOH or veto, then we got something else happening.
The 6 will be broken up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, just historically, it would be very interesting if we get both Claire and Alyssa out this Thursday, and then we get a week of all the Cookout being in one room together.
Yes.
The whole week.
A whole week.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's right. They can all talk in public.
Like that was the whole point, to
Yeah.
do that for history.
Yeah,
so,
for history, that would be huge.
Honestly, at this point, that's what I'm rooting for.
Just to see him pull it off.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
I think that's it.
I think so.
There's not going to be any vote flipping.
I mean, there is talk of a hinky vote. Because Hannah has been talking about, like, I'm going to vote to save Claire. And I think it's
not really a hinky. It's like
right. Like she's been open about it.
Yeah.
But there's talk about maybe trying to pin that on Kyland. I don't know if they've been like, if that's like definitely going to happen, but there's been talk about like, well, if Tiffany and Kyland end up on the block together, like maybe we use this vote and pin it on Kyland or something like that, So I think there's still some targeting of Kyland going on between, I think, Hannah and Azza. We're having this conversation today, I believe.
Hannah has been open about how she will vote to evict Xavier. She'll give Claire her vote.
Mm-hmm.
And then Azza is open to doing it as well. Guess what? Xavier doesn't want it to be that close because then it'd be 3-2. And he's like, no, too close.
Yeah.
But I think it will be 4-1 or 3-2, depending if they can get their way.
Yeah.
And not Xavier's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll see. But no, I don't think there'll be any accidental extra votes. Claire will go and she'll go to the jury and she'll tell Derek that Tiffany took her out. And he's going to be like,
wait, what? And she'll be like, yeah, sit down for this.
Yeah.
He's
like, wait, does that mean Hannah might be in this? And she's going to be like,
yes, she is.
Yeah. Although Claire doesn't think it's an alliance. So actually she'll go there and say Tiffany did this. And then Derek is going to be like, yeah, it's an alliance.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. There's going to be a lot of like revealing information. But again, I'm happy for Chew doubles.
Me too.
I mean, I think Tiffany handled this the best that she could. I love Claire. I'm a big Claire supporter.
Yeah.
She's on my draft team as well. She was my first pick.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to see her go, but it was a few weeks ago that we realized she had no hope. So we might as well get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're here. We're at the moment.
Yep. Hi, Mark. I miss my Phantom window too.
But this is like
it's across
the hall. That is a window.
That is a window.
So we could pretend that's
where
the
does
new
it
fan.
go?
Yeah.
Oh. Let's pretend. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes,
we appreciate it. Y'all are the best.
Yes, and if you're joining us later, not live, we love you too. We always say it. Leave us a comment.
Best.
Yeah. But leave us a comment and let us know what you think about the way Tiffany is, handling this week, how you feel about Claire going home, and what are your hopes for the 2 back-to-back double evictions. Let us know all of those thoughts.
Yes, let us know. You guys, we obviously have all of our typical Big Brother content this week, but The Circle premieres on Wednesday. And so on Thursday, I will have a bonus stream with Chantel. She is going to help me cover The Circle on Thursday when the feeds go down before the episode.
Oh my God, bless.
So join me then.
Yes, good for you.
What else am I going to do with my life?
I guess.
Come on.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what I live for. So I will see you guys then. Make sure you are subscribed. Please like this video. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.